Station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Coming up on the news at noon, DC homicides now top 200. The string of fatal shootings overnight making a grim milestone a reality. And tax returns released, what former President Trump did and did not pay after sharing them with the public before presidential bids. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at noon. I'm Ben Dennis in for Mark Hall. And breaking at this hour, a suspect is in custody for the murders of 4 University of Idaho students last month, according to authorities in Pennsylvania. A 28-year-old suspect was arrested by Pennsylvania State Police. Unclear about the timing there. However, a news briefing is expected to begin at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay with us. And also breaking news out of the district. 3 people shot and killed within 8 hours in several neighborhoods, now surpassing 200 homicides in the capital city just this year alone. We begin with the first of those 3 in Southeast. We're told shots rang out on Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue around 9:30 last night. Police found 2 men suffering from gunshot wounds. 1 man was found dead at the scene. The other was hit by a bullet, but they are expected to recover, thankfully. Police said they believe one of the 2 victims may have been a rideshare driver for Uber or for Lyft. Now, authorities say be on the lookout for a gray Buick sedan. And in Northeast, another person killed just this morning after a shooting on 7th Street after 7 p.m. Detectives believe the shooter fired rounds from a red SUV with 4 people inside. Investigators say the van went westbound on Franklin Street in the Edgewood neighborhood, and police say 50-year-old Anikobo Macaulay Umo of Brandywine, Maryland, had died at the hospital. And just this morning, around 2:30 in Columbia Heights, a man found dead near Meridian Hill Park and 15th Street Northwest. Police say 21-year-old Jonathan Guzman Hernandez of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, died on scene. Authorities said they were looking for 2 suspects wearing all black and armed with a handgun. And thankfully for the district, the DC Police Union shows a decrease in homicides compared to last year despite this string overnight. Now, with 11% fewer homicides in 2022, but they also found a 14% increase in carjackings from last year and a 2% uptick in robberies. And meteorologist Damon Matson joins us with the latest forecast. Damon, we're all wondering what it's going to look like on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. What are we looking at?
Yeah, it's a big weekend. A lot of folks getting ready with those plans and celebrations. And no matter what you have planned, things aren't looking too bad. But there is some rainfall that we have to keep an eye out for. When exactly is that set to roll in? We'll have a check on your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
Looking forward to it, Damon. Thank you. And again, in the district and new at noon, former President Donald Trump's tax returns are now public after years, of course, of controversy surrounding them and a break in presidential precedent. Now, the returns say Trump paid over $640,000 in federal income taxes in 2015, the year he began his presidential bid. Now, the next 2 years, he paid just $750, and then nearly $1 million in 2018, $133,000 in 2019, and nothing, not a penny, in 2020. Now, the tax returns released include over 6,000 pages spanning 6 years requested to be viewed by Democrats in Congress. The documents related to Trump and former First Lady Melania Trump, and with over half of those pages about business ventures. The House Ways and Means Committee voted last week to release the documents to the public, with many Republicans accusing the committee of using Trump's tax returns as a weapon against their party. Democratic Congressman Richard Neal said the focus was to ensure that the tax system applied to all Americans equally.
This was never about being punitive. It was never about being malicious.
And the committee released a summary report last week revealing that Trump claimed millions of dollars in losses that reduced the amount of taxes that he had to pay. Also new at noon, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky signs a controversial bill into law. That's according to the New York Times. The law expands the government's power to regulate the news media, including journalists. Zelensky first ordered a draft of the legislation in 2019, and the Ukrainian parliament passed it earlier this month. Now, the new law will allow the government to fine media outlets, revoke their licenses, and temporarily block operations even without a court order. Ukrainian journalists have spoken out against the law, saying that it undermines freedom of the press. And developing now, 7 people are dead following an explosion at a restaurant in western Turkey. This happened early this morning. Officials say it was likely caused by a gas leak in the building. 5 other people were also injured. 1 is in critical condition. The explosion also reportedly caused a separate fire, though there's been no word of the extent of those flames. And happening now, fans continue to mourn Brazilian soccer star Pelé, who passed away yesterday at the age of 82. Footage shows people gathered outside this stadium in Sao Paulo, Brazil, waving a large flag in his honor. And Pelé's former team, the Santos Football Club, flew their flag at half-mast in his honor. Pelé spent the majority of his career with Santos, playing on the team from 1956 through 1974, but most notably in his career, bringing Brazil 3 World Cup titles, a record. Pelé died of complications from colon cancer, which he started receiving treatment for in 2021. The sports icon is expected to be buried on January the 3rd. And turning now to Mega Millions jackpots. Well, they're on the rise, growing to more than $600 million ahead of tonight's drawing. According to lottery officials, the next jackpot will have an estimated value of $640 million. The lottery game has now gone 21 straight drawings without a perfect match, with the odds of winning at just 1 in 302 million. The cash payment for tonight's drawing is just under $330 million. And growing in number, the U.S. Census Bureau projects the world's population will be 7.9 billion on New Year's Day. That's an increase of more than 70 million people this year. In the United States, the population has reached 334 million, going up just under 0.5% in 2022. Now, the Census Bureau predicts there will be 4 people born every second in the month of January.